Slamdown is sponsored by BODYSLAM and Jam, and WWE SMACKTALK, and Impact Fan Nation. Welcome to Slamdown live stream. Today we're going to be covering everything Extreme Rules. It's quite hard to judge this show because it did feel very PG rating show. I was expecting more from a pay-per-view titled Extreme Rules. You know, I wanted to see people go through tables. You know, I wanted to see more of an hardcore element. I know it's not going to be like the days of ECW. I know we're not going to see flaming tables. I know they're not going to go to that kind of level. But still, they should have given us more. It did feel like a Raw show. There was a lot of good matches, but there was ones that were okay. It's really hard to give a review on because it was an average show, and to me, yes, some of the outcomes were good, but it was all a bit predictable. It was a bit like, it wasn't good and it wasn't bad. I still think this is probably going to be a better pay-per-view than Money in the Bank. I've still got I'm still worried about what Money in the Bank's going to be because it's just the same thing over again. But Extreme Rules, they could have really set the bar high, and it feels like they haven't, and they missed the golden opportunity. You know, the main event, you know, they could have made that absolute carnage. With the wrestlers they had in that match, they could have really upped their game, and it feels like they didn't. It felt just average. I did do my predictions, but I did say in my predictions that there wasn't a pre-show. But apparently there was, and they announced it very late on, and I did watch the pre-show match, and it didn't really stand out for me, to be honest. You know, why isn't Kalisto in the Cruiserweight division? I can't get my head around it. You know, Kalisto is a brilliant athlete. He would help the Cruiserweight division. You know, so I really hope they move him into that division, especially with his ability in the ring. You know, I'd like to see him go against Neville, TJP, Austin Aries, and I think he could really go. So I do honestly believe they missed a step there, and I'm disappointed. You know, I was hoping for everything to be a lot better. You know, I can't sit here and say, oh, it's good. No, it wasn't. Come on. Maybe it is because I'm a older wrestling fan and we've seen a lot more. and we're used to better or different. I don't know. But then again, I see other promotions, to me, do things better. So I just think it's lackluster with the WWE now. You know, you didn't really hear the crowd going, oh my God, and everything else. One thing I did see online where fans turned their backs on Roman Reigns, which I can understand why, but I don't agree with it. People have got to realise Roman Reigns is a performer. He's a wrestler. You know, he gets used the way the WWE want to use him. He doesn't have any control on that. So you can't really blame Roman Reigns. You know, the stupid promo stuff that he's come out with in the past. That's all the WWE. The wrestlers get told what to say. They're scripted. So you can't really judge Roman Reigns on that. His ability in the ring has improved. So, yes, I do agree he should be heel. But, like I said, he's there to do a job. He's doing what he's told. So don't get mad at Roman Reigns. Get mad at the WWE. You know, if you really don't like the direction the WWE is going, cancel your network. Don't go to their shows. It's the only way you're going to make any difference. You know, you can blast them on Twitter. You can say this, that, and the other. They're not going to take notice. It's when people do it in the numbers is when the WWE will take notice. You know, they're running... I've said this before. The WWE is an organisation. It's not a wrestling product. It's a business. You know. If you really want a decent wrestling show, you go and watch NXT. It's simple as that. I know I might be coming off a bit harsh, but like I said, I'm honest. You know, I'll say it as it is. I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke. But I stand by what I say. Extreme Rules was an okay show. You know, they could have done a lot better. But the kickoff match itself, Kalisto against Apollo Crews, it was a good match. Don't get me wrong. I just think Kalisto now should be in the Cruiserweight division. He's perfect for it. Why? I can't understand why they're sort of keeping him around as a filler. He deserves better than that. You know, he's a really good performer. So he needs to be moved over to the Cruiserweights. And I'm hoping it happens sooner than later. But Kalisto got the victory against Apollo Crews in the kickoff match. After that, we had The Miz taking on Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. Now, the thing that's going to bug me about this is it's Extreme Rules, but someone can be disqualified. But, okay. I don't think that stipulation was good for a pay-per-view called Extreme Rules. If it was a normal, everyday pay-per-view, then, yeah, fair enough. But this is Extreme Rules, and you can't do stipulation matches like that. It doesn't fit in. It doesn't feel right. Like I said, we expect more. We expect better. But regardless, the match itself was amazing. You know, I really like the way Miz is at the minute. I like how he's playing his role, how he's playing his character. You know, even his moveset's improved. If I'm honest, he's a lot better athlete than what he used to be. You know, with the whole doing the Daniel Bryan kicks, keeping that going. I do believe having the Maurice with Miz has helped him out a lot more, and he's over. big time he's over. I like the way where Miz got Maurice to slap him to try and get Dean Ambrose disqualified, which ended up backfiring. So the Miz shoved Dean Ambrose into the referee. The referee was about to go. It looked like the ref was going to disqualify Dean Ambrose. And then the Miz hit the skull-crushing finale. The referee decided to get back in the ring and count 1, 2, 3, making Miz the new champion. Now, I'd like that to end there. I'd like them to move forward, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think there's going to be another match at Great Balls of Fire with The Miz and Dean Ambrose. But it feels like they're circulating. They're circulating matches, repeating matches too much. You know, they've done it with Austin Aries and Neville. You know, that match has gone on too long. I've kind of lost interest in that rivalry because of how long it's gone on for. But that's just my opinion on that. But I'm happy the Miz is champion. I did like him as champion. After that, we had Rich Swann and Sasha Banks taking on Noam Dar and Alicia Fox. Thing I liked about this match, the ring wasn't purple. Finally, we had a Park Cruiserweight match in a normal ring that didn't spontaneously change colour. At last. I have been crying out for them to keep changing stuff for the Cruiserweights. Because like I said, when they change it, it feels like it's pre-recorded. It's, you know, like I said, I lose my interest. It's like, oh, okay. You know, I've never got my head around why they do it. You know, when we had Cruiserweights on SmackDown many moons ago, you didn't see them changing stuff for the Cruiserweights then. Don't do it. Your show's Raw. Cruiserweights are a division. You don't change the ropes for a tag team division. You don't change it for an Intercontinental title. You don't change it for the US title. Don't do it for the Cruiserweights. You make them look gimmicky. And it doesn't look great. It doesn't feel great. It doesn't feel natural. So that is one thing I'm hoping stops. Well, it didn't stop because later in the show, that, you know, when the Neville took on Austin Aries, it went back to purple again. For God's sake. It's just the little things that are starting to bug me now with the WWE. It really is. I've said for a long time they need to fire their writers. But then again, I think a lot of it is down to Vince McMahon. And I think that is one of the key problems. But the match itself was an interesting match. It was a good match. You know, it was quite funny seeing Sasha Banks hitting a move off the top rope on the outside on Noam Dar. I'm still not buying Alicia Fox. I don't feel she's a good wrestler. I still feel she's the best as a manager. I think there's better female athletes out there that the WWE can use. But it wasn't bad. Like I said, this show to me was average. It wasn't good. But it was a good, solid match. I can't understand why they felt midway through the show to have the Drifter come out, sing a song, salt the fans, and then go again. Didn't quite get that. Didn't think that needed to be done. And one thing that I found quite interesting is the pay-per-view is not as long as a Raw episode. Don't get that. Still feel they need to change things. They need to make Raw to 2 hours because it's too long at 3, and have their pay-per-view 3 or 4 hours. You know, this pay-per-view, I think it was about 2 hours and 40 minutes, which is the same length as a Raw. But you still want people to pay for it. Do you know what I mean? There are rumours going around that Raw might be shrinking back to 2, and I really hope it happens. I think 3 is too long because they're trying to put so much content and they're overdoing it. So I do feel the WWE that WWE Raw would be better off going back to 2, and then that sort of makes them even with SmackDown. I'm just going to say I hope they can do better with the cruiserweights. It's getting there, but there's still a lot of improvements that needs to be done. Big time. But the WWE's getting there. You know, I can say they are getting there. But so far, you know, I did say The Miz was going to win, so I got that correct. I did say Rich Swann and Sasha Banks would win. I got that correct. After that, we had Alexa Bliss taking on Bayley with a kendo stick on a pole match. I'd love to know, did Vince Russo put this match? I've been saying it for a while. Did Vince Russo do this match? Because from what Jim Cornette has said, Russo keeps begging Vince for a job. So was it Russo actually said, Vince, improve your women's division. Make a pole match. Make a pole match. And did Vince give in to him? Is that why we got kendo stick on a pole match? Oh, please. I can understand why they did it for these two, but it was a good match. I don't rate Bayley. No, I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. But her in-ring ability is not great. And I really don't like the way they've changed Alexa Bliss and made her finisher the DDT. She just looks weaker with it. I prefer the move she hit off the top rope. Yeah, I just don't like the DDT because we see the DDT quite a lot and it doesn't feel like it's a finisher. Like the belly to Bayley or whatever she calls it, I don't feel like that's a finisher. That's one of my gripes. I've said it for a while now. But again, it was a solid match. You know, there weren't too much complaints about it. We did see Alexa Bliss getting the victory in the end. After that, we had the cage match. Cesaro and Sheamus taking on the Hardy Boys for the Raw Tag Team titles. I like this match. I can actually say this match I was intrigued in. Thought it was done fantastically. Didn't take my eyes off this match at all. I've got to give it to the WWE. I didn't expect it to go the way it did. You know, we saw Jeff get out first, and then they tack on a mark. You know, all the spots that was done on this was perfect. I can't fault it. And, you know, I can't wait for the next show. I really can't. Like I said, I think this was done brilliantly. Absolutely brilliantly. Just hang on a 2 minute, folks. There we go. My computer charger's decided to have a spaz moment. But yeah, it was done perfectly, this match. I can't fault it in any way at all. To me, it was probably the standout match of the card. And the Hardy Boys always put a good performance in. You know, I can't think of many bad matches the Hardys have been in a team. Now, I've seen rumours floating around that they're going to split the Hardy Boys up. I hope not. I think it's too soon. You know, they came in at WrestleMania. I think they still deserve to have more of a push. And then in time split them up. Because the problem you've got is if you split the Hardys up and put Jeff on a singles run, what are you going to do with Matt? Matt can't use the broken gimmick. So what else are you going to do? Because if I'm honest with you, without the broken gimmick, Matt is not that. He's just Matt. He's just the other brother to Jeff. That's the problem. Unless the only other way that I can see them doing this is if Matt Hardy goes with Bray Wyatt. And they make a new sort of family where Bray takes Matt. and they sort of evolved the broken character without breaking any of the copyright infringements. That's the only way I can see they can go with that. I can't see them able to go any other route. But yeah, that's the only way I can see them can go with Matt. I just, you know, when Matt's on his own, he's horrendous. You know, if you think about when he was on his own in WWE before, it weren't great. If you look at TNA when he was on as a singles competitor before he was broken, he was all right. He was money, Matt. It was all right. But I've said this before, Matt's not really good just as a wrestler on his own. He needs a type of gimmick. And if they can't use broken, they need to find something else for him. Because that's the only way I can think he can deliver. That's what I honestly believe. I'm thinking hard what else they could do to get him over. And nothing seems to be coming to mind. I'm really trying to be positive about Matt Hardy, and it's quite difficult. I'm just hoping the rumours are not true, because I just don't think Matt could be ready for a solo run. But the way they did the match, where Cesaro and Sheamus got the victory by managing to get in out of the cage just that couple of seconds quicker than the Hardys, I thought was perfect. Perfect way to do that. I do believe they're going to lead to another match at I'm saying this name, Great Balls of Fire. I hate the name. I just hate that name of the pay-per-view for a pay-per-view. But I think that's going to happen at Great Balls of Fire. I think that'll be a rematch of some sort. Because all it really has been is the Hardy Boys and Cesaro and Sheamus. I'd rather the Hardy Boys keep the title and face other opponents. It's just felt kind of meh. Because they have just faced Cesaro and Sheamus over and over and over and over and over and over again. And it's one thing I hate is when they overdo things, repeat things, it gets kind of boring. And it feels like the same old. You know, and that's how it feels to me. I really don't like being critical, but like I said, I've got to be honest, you know. So one thing I am on here is completely honest. But let's move on to the Cruiserweight Champion match. Now, I'm impressed. It was a bloody good match, but I was already disinterested because I've seen it too many times. It feels like it's on repeat and repeat and repeat. It gets boring when you repeat stuff over again. You know, I've seen this match too many times. We know Austin Aries has lost this match, but where does Austin Aries go from this? Where does Neville go from this? Is Austin Aries going to disappear for a little while and then come back again? Or I don't like the way the Cruiserweight's used anyway because of the 2 Live thing. But anyway, it was a good solid match. Average again. Now on to the main event. My problem with the main event. Your show's called Extremes Rules. This is going to be an extreme match. I didn't feel like it was extreme enough. I wanted more hardcore. I wanted more extremeness. I wanted to be wowed. I was wowed at certain parts, but I think they could have upped this a lot more. You know, why not see Bray Wyatt pull a table out? Why not Seth Rollins pulling the ladders out? You know, kendo sticks, announce tables being broke. Really make this a fierce brawl. Really, you know, bring it so the competitors are like they want to be number one contender. They're going to hurt people. They're going to break people. You know, they're going to get extreme. But it didn't feel like that. You know, there was great parts of the pay-per-view. There was great sections to it, but overall, to me, it fell short. Now, I did think Finn Balor was going to go over in this, but I'm quite happy it's Samoa Joe. I do think Finn Balor deserves a title opportunity at some point, but I've always wanted to see Joe go against Brock Lesnar. The only thing that would make that match better if they made it a submissions match. At Extreme Rules, make it a submission match. Not Extreme Rules, sorry. At Great Balls of Steel, make it a submission match between Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar. Will make it epic. The only thing is, what do they do about Finn Balor? What do they do about Seth Rollins? What do they do about Bray Wyatt? What are they going to give those guys to do at the next pay-per-view? We will have to wait to see what happens at Raw to where this is going to go to. But like I said, to me, it was an average show. They could have done a lot better. They could have made it more extreme. If this was like Backlash or No Mercy, I would have been fine with the main event. But because it's Extreme Rules, you expect it to be extreme. You know, so I do feel they could have done a lot better. Really do. But I think that's it for this show. I want to say thanks for everybody commenting, the likes. We are back on air tomorrow with the Raw review, and then on Wednesday with the SmackDown review, and then Sunday with Extreme Rules. But don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Slamdown Live. Message us on Facebook, message us on Twitter. I am in talks with some independent stars to get some more interviews sorted for the future. But I want to say a big thank you to everybody watching. I've been your host, Ashley Friend, and I'll see you again tomorrow.